Chapter 7395 News of the death of Master Konyan quickly spread throughout Japan. Japanese society always respect and love this long-lived Buddhist teacher, so that when you hear the news, a lot of people go to Kinkakuji Temple in Kyoto to pay tribute, and TV stations also reported his life in turn. When Maria Lin boarded the plane and prepared for takeoff back to China, his phone was still receiving notifications about Konyan. Maria Lin was heartbroken and flew back to Oris Hill. In the plane, Sun Zidong came to the front cabin and saw Maria Lin leaning against the window in a daze. He stepped forward carefully and asked respectfully, "Miss, are you okay?" Maria Lin woke up and forced a smile. "It's okay. Thank you for your hard work. Followed me all the way to Japan." Sun Zidong immediately bowed and said, "It's an honor for me to serve you, young lady, as long as you are away from China. I often tell about you to my brother, sister who grew up with you. Although everyone has grabbed achievements in various countries and fields, when they tell me about you, that they envy the most is actually the elder Parker. He is the only one who has you for many years." Maria Lim sighed. "It's really hard for him. He's been by my side for years, but he doesn't even have one yet." Sun Zidong sighed. "Actually, for softly, those of us who can't find a legacy, our ancestors, actually, there's no reason to continue our bloodline." After saying so, suddenly he remembered going on a short trip to Japan. Then he asked "Is Mr. Konyan? It's also an orphan you raised, yeah?" Maria Lin nodded and sighed. "In Japan, I adopted some orphans from Kyoto. As time, I became quite famous in Kyoto, as a result of which a lot of people left their unwanted babies or incapable of being raised in front of my door, Genk being one of them." At this point, Maria Lin's power to hold back the sigh. That time was a long time ago. All those kids died a long time ago. Genk being was the last to die. With her gone, all the children I raised in Japan died. Sun Zidong asked her, "Miss, is the teacher Konyan the person you love most among those children?" Maria Lin shook her head. "I can't say I love her most. It's just that his life is the hardest." After that, he reminisced about the past and started talking. "So I's mom gave birth to him when he was 17. During the coldest season in Kyoto. After giving birth, he left it outside my house and drowned in the Yodogawa River. With the weather at the time, newborn baby Sohei probably won't live more than half an hour. Luckily, he cried loudly on his swing, and the other kids hear and tell it to me. So I took her to the house." "Sun?" Zidong asked in astonishment. "Why did his mother kill herself?" Maria Lin said. "Ibu Genping, leaving a letter in Genping's body. According to the letter, his father is the son-in-law of Ito family who lives in Kyoto at that time, and Zenping mother is a maid in Ito family. His father was bullied by his wife all day, so he secretly hooked up with his mother. Then, mother became pregnant. His father was afraid of being discovered, so he kicked her out of the house and found another house to live in, and gave birth to him. But the affair was finally exposed. But the other helpers, family Ito, wants to eradicate its root, and killed his father and mother." Sun Zidong confused. "Why family Ito don't punish their son-in-law for having an affair? First blood. Instead, they wanted to kill a maid." Maria Lin said. "Ito's family has their own worries. The reason they want recruiting a living and son-in-law is because head of the family Ito back then only had one daughter. It needs son-in-law who lives at home. Descendants of the Ito line family, father Genping and daughter family Ito, already had a son named Ito Kaiichi. The head of the Ito family knows this, and feared after his death, Genping's father will take advantage of his son. This is Keiichi, to bring his son from outside the family to the family Ito, so he wants to cut ties with Ito's family. This is Keiichi Sunzidong Bergumum. This name sounds familiar, Maria Lin explained. Edokichi is the founder of the Edo family, the biggest family in Japan. He single-handedly changed the family Ito from a small and wealthy family in Kyoto became a tycoon in Japan. Sohaig is his half-brother. Sunzidong suddenly remembered something and exclaimed, Tuan Wade seems to have a good relationship with Ito's family? Yes, Maria Lin nodded and said, while sighs if Gangbing takes the rejuvenation pill. He might be able to meet Ito Takahiko in the future. Ito Keiichi was Ito Takahiko's great-grandfather, playing back to Aris Hill by the evening. After Maria Lin returned, he immediately locked himself in the villa at the top of Mount Villa and Heartbreak, meeting with Kong Yin. This time, and the farewell he experienced, awakened him to one thing. He always adopted some kids, raising them, preparing them for the world, then disappeared from their world. He thought they would forget each other, but he did not expect the feelings of these children to her will continue to be forgotten for over 100 years. Kanyun like this, and I think some of the other kids that survived also the same, for safety and to get away from trouble. Maria Lin rarely contacted them, but in his heart, these people are his children. How could he not miss them? Then he was secretly determined in the courtyard, under the tree of the Mother Puja, that if Victoria is no longer a threat in the foreseeable future, she would have gone to the surviving children. If it's not too late, because the youngest among them may be 70 years old. 3 days later, Master Kanyen's funeral was held in Kyoto, Japan. A touching was that the one presiding over the funeral was the master, Ginseng, a young Buddhist teacher from China and a friend. Kondon's Master Kanyen's body cremated at Kyoto Funeral Home. All of Japan hoping Master Kanyen will leave. Relics after cremation. But, unfortunately, Master Kanyen turned into a wisp of smoke and left. Only left a handful of ashes. According to the request, last Master Kanyen, his ashes were not left in the temple of Kinkakuji. Kinkakuji Temple only keeps his spirit inscription, and the ashes were buried in secret at a cemetery on the outskirts of Kyoto City by its main disciple. This cemetery has a history of more than 100 years and one of the oldest large-scale cemeteries in Kyoto. Number of people buried here have reached tens of thousands. This cemetery has run out of new graves for sale a few years ago, but some people have bought empty graves that has not been used, of which there's an empty tomb bought by Master Kanyen. A few years ago, after Master Kanyen buried, his tombstone erected in front of the tomb, but unlike most people, her tombstone only has 6 big characters to Masaidasoe, and the year he died at the bottom of, because there's no date of birth left. Few people actually know. How old is the owner of this tomb? And no one knows that. This tomb is the final resting place of the master, Kanyen, next to Saito Seatti's grave. There are several tombstones with the surname Saito, including Saito Keiko, Seto Toyama, Saito Hyde, Saito Suzu, Ito, and so on. The years of death, these guys cover a wide range of, the earliest one even died in 1926. Those who don't probably thought that the Saito family certain buried all the relatives, those who died here. But some of the older people in Kyoto know that people with the surname Saito. This is basically an orphan. The orphan adopted by the famous Mrs. Saito. They were all very successful while still young, and most of them having children all over Japan and even around the world. But without exception, before they died, they asked their families to bury their here. Saito Sei's tomb is just one of Saito's. Other than her slightly newer tombstone, there's nothing special about her. But for the orphans who grew up with, there is no blood relationship, as close as siblings weren't buried together after they died. Is romance the different?